I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are
the SG Boys, that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. And we're recording.
Ew. You're not just going to have sex with your boyfriend, you're going to have legal sex.
I feel like being gay is so gauche, it's so tacky, so overdone these days.
We gotta take that out.
Everybody say love.
You know Kennedy's back because we have to say, okay, let's take
we
the part
have
out.
to. We have to.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, am I the only one in this room who hasn't had legal gay sex yet? I think some people had celebratory sex, no?
The SG Boys. Was that good?
It's okay.
We have a special guest in our comeback episode. Kennedy is back.
Woo!
Well, I mean...
Slow clap, everyone. Took your own bloody sweet time.
We've got a lot to catch up on, but we're reuniting also because this is a monumental moment in Singapore's history that's just happened.
So finally, the government has announced that Singapore is going to repeal 377A, which is the law that criminalises sex between two consenting men. Being gay and having gay sex in Singapore is no longer illegal, and we are no longer criminals.
Yeah, and this was announced at our National Day rally by our Prime Minister. I think there was word on the street, rumors swirling around. I told Rachael, I think, our producer, and I was like, this might happen at our rally this year. We got to be there. We got to watch this. And she's like, no lah, there's no way this will happen. Because everyone watches the rally, you know,
Yeah.
and like, especially the older generation, like my parents, it's sort of tradition for them to all sit together in the living room. And when PM Lee started talking about 377A, I just like tightened up as I was watching it in my house with my friend. We live together now. Our jaw was just on the ground. Where were you when that happened?
I was at Tantric. I'm a cliche, I know, but
Wait,
Yes.
for people overseas who don't know what Tantric is.
Tantric is a gay bar lah.
It's an institution.
Yes. Tantric is the
the gay bar in Singapore. So,
I
like,
was
if
there
you...
with Kennedy.
It was a pure coincidence that at that night there was a drag event.
Okay.
Open mic drag. So anyone who dressed up could go, hosted by the fabulous Venomous Joe Kim.
Yes.
Who we've had on the show before.
Yes.
The show's called Work, so go check it out. Y'all can make a drag debut there if you want. I have a couple of friends doing it.
We didn't expect that it was going to tie in with that. After it was announced, even more people came down just to celebrate purely for that occasion.
Kennedy and I were watching it on the same phone. I don't know why. We were all crowded around.
We had one tiny little phone.
Yeah, connected the phone and, like, you know, a few jugs of drinks. Because priorities. So we were expecting it, but at the same time when it actually happened, I think there was still like a smidget of like disbelief. Pinch me, somebody pinch me.
Yeah.
This is a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare.
I really concur with that because I think like logically I could process it. My brain was registering it very well. I think, but my heart was like, I still can't believe it. And I think the interviews that happened right after the National Day rally with Yang Fa from Uga Chaga, a counselling centre for LGBT people, it's LGBT affirming. The fact that Yang Fa was invited to attend and to listen to National Day rally, I think that was very, very heartwarming. And I think when I saw that interview, I could see he was on the verge of tears because this whole effort actually started since 2007. Back when the internet was not as big, they actually went in the middle of the night, club to club, to get petitions to repeal 377A. All these people who've put in so much work over the years, even though there was that setback in 2007, 15 years ago, they've kept up the fight for the entire community, and I think it's really, really beautiful and touching. Yeah, the moment it was announced, I was with my boyfriend and I just grabbed him and just started crying into his chest. Sam Joe was there to witness it.
Yeah.
I was literally just like...
I took some pictures.
I was
I'm
crying
always
really...
ready. I'm always ready for the gram.
No, I was crying very badly because I think for me, you know, some people may say, oh, it's too political. I think at the end of the day, it really was an opportunity for the community to talk about rights as a whole. It really isn't just about 377A. Over the last 15 years, I am someone who grew into it. I discovered I was gay around that time, around 07, 08, when I was primary 4, primary 5. I'm very thankful to all the activists that made it happen, the people who put their face in front of the movement.
Here.
Yeah.
Woo!
All the people that came before us, you know, all the incredible organizations that affirm and provide resources for LGBTQ plus people here, and they do it voluntarily. They don't get support from the government. And also the power of social media, the power of activists online, the next generation, all coming together for this.
One of the first few people that I called that night after the repeal was announced was actually one of my straight best friends since I was 11. He's always been a very open ally, and he's Christian as well, and he's always been very supportive of me. I called him and I said, thank you for always being an ally, and thank you for making me feel seen ever since I was 11, because I think it's a very scary place to be in an all-boys school, where teachers are constantly telling you that it's not correct, it's not moral, and if not for you, I don't think I would have the confidence to be who I am today, and I'm very, very grateful that you're still in my life. I have another best friend who's gay as well. We literally were bullied together, shared trauma since primary and secondary school. And I called him and I was just like, whatever comes next, we'll still do it together. The biggest takeaway was that no one could have done it alone. At the end of the day, it really was a community effort. I remember when I was 15, when I first went for Pink Dot, I would actually change into my pink shirt at the Toa Payoh MRT toilet. And I wouldn't dare to go home in the pink shirt.
There are a lot of people who do that, right? They'll get in drag at the train station or at the mall nearby, and then they'll be very conscious to, okay, I need to remove my makeup now before going anywhere else.
Yeah, so everyone who has the heart for it, I think, can be attributed to whatever happened on Sunday, the repeal of 377A.
There were a lot of people at the Billie Eilish concert, for instance. Our dear Rachael De Foe, who's sitting here on Josh's cum stain bed.
What the guys?
But no, I saw so many TikToks online of people literally at the Billie Eilish concert on Sunday.
Yeah.
Then there was confetti streaming and everything. I mean, it wasn't timed with it, but obviously Billie Eilish's demographic is probably even younger than me. I just found it very heartwarming to see all these kids celebrating. So I did an interview with Vice Media, and they asked me how do you feel about the repeal? They were doing a Vox Pop, which is on the street interview. The first thing I said was, I feel relief that kids these days don't have to grow up the same way that that I did. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very big relief.
It's true, and that's also how I felt, and that's one reason why I know we were joking initially, because we found out we were both going to be at Tantric that night. So I said, we were like, okay, if repeal really happens, if it does, we need to turn to each other and start singing A Moment Like This. because
some people wait a lifetime.
Yeah, some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this, and we actually did it, and we hugged it out, and Kennedy was crying already then. It takes a little bit more for me to cry, but actually all my emotions caught up with me when I went home, and I sat down on my bed and I started choking up a bit, because you can say this is a bittersweet victory and everything. There's still a lot more work to be done in many areas, because repealing is not the be all and all. But the fact is, guys, this is happening in our lifetime. We didn't think it would happen, and we were a part of history. We were were in that moment. That was to see everyone all come together there. And some of them had a private screening of the NDR, and a lot of them were activists and people who have been very outspoken this entire time and really pushing strong allies and strong community leaders. And to see all of them at Tantric and just everyone just hugging each other like strangers hugging each other. You all have been to a gay bar, and most of the time it's very cliquish. And people don't necessarily say hi to each other, right? You flock to your own friends and everything. But that night, something was very special in the air. And I think all the emotions caught up with me at the end. And I was thinking also to myself, yeah, if only this had happened years ago. What a beautiful time to be alive. And that's what I felt.
It was such a beautiful moment watching that private screening of, you see Pam Ui there, you see Pu Jin Feng there, all of these, Johnson Ong that we've had at this podcast, who played an instrumental role in going to the courts for this, right? So to see them and their reaction, I mean, they were cheering and everything, but a lot of them seemed to just be sighing, they're taking that exhale after all these years of work. That was so powerful to see. We owe it to them. I think they too feel I wish we had this at 15, at 20, to feel that empowerment and then go and figure out who they are and all that, So to have to unlearn a lot of things and then learn who you are and then fight for who you are and put your foot down and be we're going to take risks and come together to form Pink Dot every year. That took a lot of years from them. I think right now we are taking that exhale. One of the reasons why I did not expect it to happen at the National Day rally was because we've gone unseen for so long that I didn't think, when they said gay at the rally, I was just oh my gosh, I feel seen, but at the same time I feel scared to be seen because it feels so surreal, and I couldn't help but think of my dad watching this right now. Is he walking away from the TV? What's happening? Couldn't sleep. I was so excited. And I was thinking, I think tomorrow I'm going to go on radio and I'm going to say that I'm gay. I've actually never come out on radio. Does this mean now I can come out and just be myself? I actually spoke to my friend, my roommate, and I was like, hey, if I do this tomorrow and I get fired for some reason, you cover next month's rent, okay? And he was like, yeah, can. In the morning, I went to work and I actually spoke to my co-host and I told them like, hey, would y'all feel comfortable if I were to just write something and just share a little bit about myself? And they were like, yeah, do it. I'm so for it. But maybe we should also check with our program director first, because they hadn't changed okay, first of all, the repeal hasn't actually happened yet, right? We're currently on the road to repeal, but it hasn't been repealed yet, number one. Number two, IMDA,
Infocom Media Development Authority,
they have separate sets of rules for this as well. There's a broadcasting code for TV, newspapers, magazines, ads around Singapore as well. And they kind of put this in this alternative lifestyle. From what I know currently, even with the law repeal, that's still going to remain the same. I won't be able to say that I'm a gay person. Absolutely, we should be celebrating this milestone, but a lot of us in the queer community currently in Singapore, we also have this big question mark of what does this actually mean? And there were some clarifications made by the government following the repeal.
The government also announced that they will be amending the constitution to allow parliament to decide on the definition of marriage. Yeah, because I think there was a bit of confusion over this also about like, oh, are they going to like enshrine the definition of marriage in the constitution? And they've since come out to say, no, that's not what they're going to do, but they're going to change the constitution to give parliament basically that power to determine what marriage means.
To our listeners, basically what happened before is that you could go to court and say that based on our laws, gay people are not treated equally. So you should strike down the law. That's what happened in the past. But now what the government is saying is that they are amending our laws such that you can no longer do that. Gay people are equal.
You can't challenge that anymore.
You can't challenge that anymore under the Equal Protection Act. So now if you want to fight for marriage or you want to fight for housing or education or media rights, you have to do it via your MPs, and the members of parliament will have to vote on that in parliament. So it's slightly different. I understand it's a bit confusing already. The future prime minister added on that this will not change. This will not happen under the watch of the current prime minister, and it will not happen under his watch if the PAP were to win the next general election. And so it is telling in the future that marriage equality and LGBT rights will be a point of discussion in elections. And so I think it's important to remind everyone that at the end of the day, like, we are a community. Politicians are going to say a lot of things sometimes. There are people who support, there are people who are against. But I think what's most important is to hold on to each other. As Remy from Pink Dot rightly said so, it is the first step in a march to the road for equality. There's going to be a lot of other things that we have to right in this country. The people behind the movements, the activists, they know that it's not the end. It's rights for everyone. So I think it's very important to mention this. Because 377A, the exact wording really only targets cisgendered gay men, right? The word of the law only kind of specifically mentions gay men. And I think it's important to note that the law was repealed, but it is symbolic, overall larger. And I think that we cannot forget everyone else on the spectrum, rights for everyone across the LGBT plus spectrum.
And so the fight continues.
Absolutely.
And I know that not everyone's on the same page also.
Because it affects different people differently, right?
Yeah.
I think of Cameron and Andre. We've had them on our show. They
Double
go
dads.
as they're raising a son in Singapore currently, right? With them sort of cementing what a family is going to be like in Singapore. What we can use that for. What now for this rainbow family? Things are going to be even harder for them. I see people make that joke, I'm not a criminal anymore. And we say it because it's so stupid. It's so silly that we are criminalized for this. And I have a couple of thoughts as well on the media reporting on things so far after 377A was announced that it will be repealed. The first one being, a lot of people have forgot. I thought the most beautiful part of PM Lee's speech was that, he said, gay people are our friends, they're our loved ones, they are our colleagues. Like, that was the moment I felt seen. And I was like, oh my gosh, because a lot of people think, there are Singaporeans who think there's like 3 gay people out there causing trouble. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? It was that moment that I think was important for every person watching to reflect and be like, yeah, think about the people they've rejected in their lives or they've wronged. They could have done a bit more, for them. And I thought that was a really poignant moment. The second thing over there is that it's a lot of talk about 377A gay sex. It's a lot of that. I know couples who are asexual, right? They're not in sexual relationships. you know, and they just want to hold hands. They just want to be themselves. They, you know, like we're using sort of like the most sort of like vulgar sort of impression of gay people as promiscuous people who now they're allowed to run free and have gay sex. That's not actually what we're, you know, there's so much more to it that I thought would be able to be fixed by removing 377A. That we can now have positive representation of people, that you can see gay people as people first. It's gonna take a while, it seems.
I think the issue here is that you can change laws, you can change things on paper and everything, you can change policies. At the end of the day, mindsets,
perceptions, that takes time,
harder to change, and they can't happen overnight.
Yeah,
the onus is really on us to, like, you know, continue to fight, and because we have to show them that we're just like everyone else. Like, you know, we're not sex deviants or criminals in a sense. I mean, a lot of people still conflate gay people with pedophiles, for instance, right? It's a very fucked up
or STDs,
misconception. Or STDs,
right? Like,
exactly.
Like, I don't want my parents to come to me and be like, yeah, I saw the 377A repeal thing. Now that means you can go and have sex. Like that's not even where my mind is going to.
Get intestinal worms. Whoa.
Right. Oh yeah, that's the other.
Come on, watch your house.
Yeah. You know, like, I want to be able to see like how I meet my boyfriend, meet my partner.
I want to say hashtag cancelled, but it's hashtag suspended.
And this is why we do this podcast, right? We're just being ourselves. You know, there was a funny comment made to me by someone recently. I won't name names, obviously, but this person said, "Hey Joshua, you know, I want to tell you something. You're not the like the flaming kind of homosexual."
He basically said you're not a child aqua.
He literally, I kid you, he was like, you're not like the flaming kind of homosexual.
You're not that kind one.
Yeah. And he was like, you're actually quite intelligent. And I know. I just went, oh.
That's the same kind of bullshit that, you know, when people say, oh, you're quite pretty for Indian. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and we're navigating that right now. And I just smile and nod my head. I was like, okay, we're not going to get into it now. I don't have enough energy. You know, so I think...
Yeah, I mean, pick your battles, I would say.
Exactly.
Because this is a long one.
It is like what you said, bittersweet victory. We're excited, we're happy, we're proud of ourselves, of our community for getting to where we are now. We cannot also help but feel that sense of anxiety and fear, because that's all we have known for so long. They were like, are you sure you're giving me something? You know, like, what do you want in return? You know? And then they're putting things on the table and we're like reading the fine print and checking really carefully, and we're catastrophizing everything at the same time. So we're doing a little bit of all of that. So it's a very emotionally charged period for Singapore right now, but we are here.
For me, what stood out from the Prime Minister's speech actually, which a lot of people actually didn't pick up on, I feel, he said, "It is my hope that with the repeal of 377A, this will provide some relief to gay Singaporeans." Keyword is some. There is a keen awareness in the government that they know that it's not full equality. And we know it's not full equality.
Yep.
And I think for me, it was very significant that he mentioned some. Yes, there was an not so ideal trade-off, but at the same time, it is put back into the hands of the people to really campaign and gain public support for the next steps moving forward, such that some relief evolves into full relief, so that we can all finally feel as proud, equal Singaporeans.
What if I told you it was all meant to be? Would you believe me?
Would you agree?
What would an SG Boys episode be without that?
It's almost that feeling we can be sure.
Wait, what song is this?
To tell me that you don't think I'm crazy. Your love has come around here and now.
They're holding hands, everyone.
A moment like this. Some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this. Some people search forever for that one special kiss. Oh, I can't believe it's happening to me.
Oh, she's singing the Kelly Clarkson version, not the Leona Lewis
Of course,
version.
please. I'm singing the better version.
Some people
Wait a lifetime for a moment like this.
Oh, Stop! No.
She went for the modulation.
That was the key change. No, the Kelly Clarkson version is the OG, and in my
Yeah lah,
opinion,
it's written for
the
her.
better
what.
version. Yeah.
The
No.
original American Idol.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why. It just felt right to sing in that moment.
So I'm glad to be back. It was really important for me to come back to celebrate this because one of my favorite episodes that I did with you guys was actually the Love episode where I talked about my friend who passed. Part of her struggle was really being misunderstood for her sexuality with her family. And I think when the repeal was announced, I really was thinking of her a lot because I think, you know, she used to tell me, keep fighting for our rights and everything. And I just hope that, you know, if she were alive today, that she would be happy with this outcome. She would be feeling more loved overall.
I'm Joshua Simon,
I'm Sam Joe,
and we are the SG Boys.
that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. The beliefs, views, and opinions expressed on this podcast are attributable to its hosts only and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, organization, company, or individual.